I'm Chef Z and you're watching Made to Order a la Orden, and in today's video we're going to be making these mini Tres Leches cake. And do not let size fool you, because even though these bad guys are super small, they pack the biggest punch. Now I've tweaked my original recipe just a little bit, and now these Tres Leches cake are my best seller. My friends and my family go absolutely crazy, and I can't tell if it's because they're bite-sized and fun, or if because their small size makes them super moist and all the more tastier. So if you want to learn how to make this fun treat, then just keep watching. So first things first, we're going to take about 1/3 of the sugar, we're going to add it into the egg whites, and then we're going to beat this together until they create some stiff peaks. Now I'm using a hand mixer, and you can definitely use a hand mixer to make this whole entire cake. In fact, it's one of the easiest cakes to make because of that, but you can also use a stand mixer. The important thing is that you want to whisk the egg whites and the egg yolks separately. Now moving on to the egg yolks, we're going to add the eggs, the rest of the sugar, and we're going to beat that together until the eggs become a pale yellow color, which may take about 2 to 3 minutes. We're now going to add some vanilla bean paste, but you can definitely use some vanilla extract instead. I personally just like to see those vanilla bean speckles throughout my cake, and I think vanilla bean is just slightly stronger than vanilla extract. Now off to the side, we're going to add some salt and some baking powder into our all-purpose flour, and we're going to combine that all together, just making sure that we don't have any lumps. And now we're going to add about 1/3 of the flour, and we're going to mix that on a very low speed. And then we're going to add 1/2 of our evaporated milk, which, by the way, you can use half and half, whole milk or cream, whatever you have on the house is fine. And then we're going to add some more flour, mix that on low speed again, and then the rest of the milk, and then the last bit of the flour. You're essentially alternating your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients, and whenever you add in the last bit of the flour, just be mindful not to overbeat your batter. In fact, I only mix it for about 5 seconds, and then I finish it off by hand. And once that's done, we're now going to very gently fold in our egg whites. Now, a Tres Leches cake is a sponge cake, and this egg white here is going to be the thing that gives our sponge cake some nice fluffy and airy texture, which is why you want to do this ever so gently, because if we're kind of rough with it, we end up deflating our batter, and that's definitely what we don't want to happen. And now that our cake batter is ready, it's now time to actually bake the cake. But first we have to put it into a cake pan, which I've greased with some non-stick spray, and I've dusted it with some flour as well, just to make sure that it doesn't stick. I then smooth it out, tap it ever so lightly to activate those air bubbles, and then we're going to place it into the oven at 350 degrees, and we're going to bake it for 35 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. Now keep in mind that a Tres Leches cake does not have any butter or oil. You purposely want to make the cake a little bit on the drier side, because later on we're going to be infusing so much tasty moisture that you won't even notice that this cake doesn't have any butter. Now I'm taking a circle cutter, which is a hair smaller than the mini mason jars I'm actually going to use later on, and we're going to cut a bunch of them out, as much as we can, out of the cake. Now, don't worry if you have a bunch of cake scraps just like you see here. We're actually going to very gently cut that away, but please do not throw it away, because that is still going to make some really delicious Tres Leches cake. In fact, you're going to have so many cake scraps, you're probably going to eat them all before you even get to infuse them into the cake. Now we're going to add our little perfectly sized cakes, and we're going to place them into the mason jar, and then we're going to take a toothpick or fork, or in my case a cake tester, and we're just going to poke some holes into it just to make sure that that milk mixture really goes throughout the cake. Now we're going to create the actual milk mixture by adding some evaporated milk, half and half or heavy cream, and a whole can of sweet condensed milk, along with some vanilla extract, and then we're going to mix that together until it's well combined. Just as a heads up, whenever you're making this milk mixture, I recommend not using whole milk, simply because I think the taste just isn't as great when you use a heavy cream or even half and half. And now, very carefully, trying not to make a huge mess, we're now going to fill our little mason jars with this awesome milk mixture. I'm using my little red yarn kind of as a guideline. At the very end of the day, you just want to fill them as much as you can without making a huge mess. Then we're going to chill this in the refrigerator for about an hour, and at the very end, right when you're ready to serve, we're going to top them off with a little bit of meringue frosting and a maraschino cherry. Now, you can definitely use a regular buttercream or even cream cheese buttercream or some whipped cream because it's still going to come out super, super tasty. If you have any questions, visit my website. Don't forget to follow me on social media. And thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below and let me know what other videos you'd like to see here on my channel. And like always, I can't wait to see you guys next week with an all new video. Buen provecho, guys!